current place, they did have an appraisal. So,
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Good morning, Diana.
Morning.
Good morning, Diana.
Morning, Diana.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hey, Rosa, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mary. How are you?
I'm
How's
good.
everyone?
I won't complain. I'm not
Neither will
complaining.
I.
Morning,
It's all
Rosa.
good.
Good morning, George. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Good morning.
Morning, Rosa.
Morning, Rosa. Morning, Madam President.
Good morning, Phil.
Bill.
Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Hey.
thank
Yeah, happy New Year to you, my friend. Happy New
Can you hear me loud and clear? Can you see my face?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Bright and beautiful.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. Good, nice and clear.
Thank you.
Right.
Good.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you want to get started?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Pam, you want to do a roll call?
Yes. Arthur?
Good
Yeah.
morning.
Phil? Phil?
Present.
Counselor Jacutis?
Present.
Betty Gonzalez? No. George?
Present.
Mary?
Present.
Carly? Barbara Mann?
Present.
John?
I'm not here present.
Smitty?
I'm here.
And Joan Noble?
Here.
Oh, good.
Director Gomez?
Present.
All right.
Call me Diane.
Right.
This is just for the board members,
Oh,
Diane.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Goodbye.
No, you're welcome. It's a
Stop.
public meeting. It's a public
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a public.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the roll call is just for those that have to be here.
Okay.
All right. Let's start off. We did our roll call. So let's start off with our update from Chris and see what's going on. You ready, Chris?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, things are progressing very good. On our location, I think I'll let Jim speak more in depth about that. But so I have like a couple announcements. So I'm gonna be hosting a financial literacy and fraud prevention class February 10th. A lot of seniors are victims of fraud and stuff. So I think it'll be a good class to learn and some things. I have the manager of Chase Bank. She's gonna come and she does this for a living, and she's gonna offer her services to us. So be on the lookout for that. I'll send out more information when we tie down the location. And I'll also be hosting a free arts and crafts sea glass class. So they use like glass from the sea, and they do these really nice arts and crafts things. That's gonna be February 9th at 2 p.m. It's they can only do a small group of 15 people. So I'm looking for a location for that, and then I'll let you guys know. I'll post it on the Senior Center Facebook page and the city website as well. And then I'm also looking into the Valentine's party. So me and Diane are trying to find the location, and once we get word on if we can get this location, then I'll make the flyers out and I'll send them out as well. So yeah, we're doing a lot of things. So I'm preparing as April 1st. We'll have a senior center. I don't know if it's possible, but that's the way I'm preparing. So I've been looking to find vans. It's been very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Everything's back ordered and no one's working, and the chip, like the card chips that go to the computer, they're not being produced. So it's very difficult, but we're gonna keep going at it and try to find the van so we can have our own transportation sooner rather than later. And I'm also beginning in the process of, we're gonna start hiring soon. So I've been doing, job descriptions and reaching out to all the other senior centers, doing my homework and seeing how much they're paying staff and what would fit us for our senior center. So that's where we're at with that. Hopefully February 15th, I'll start posting these jobs and we can pick the best staff for our senior center that are gonna, do great work with us and become members of our team. And and I'm also working on getting these grants. So if we get the space, the second floor they have like a garden area. So if we're able to get the second floor, then me and Norris are working on these grants. So we'll be able to get a nice garden area, and we'll make sure that the garden is high level, so you guys don't have to bend over, and it'll be very easy to access. And we're also working on the food distribution as well. So a lot of good news coming in, I think it's all great news, a lot of good things in the forefront. And I also want to announce that I don't know if you guys know, effective January 14th, Mass Health will cover four packages containing 2 test kits, or 8 packages of one kit each for the COVID self-testing kits. You don't need prior authorization either, and the brands that are covered are Binax Now, FlowFlex, iHealth, IntelliSwab, and QuickView at Home. So that's another good thing. And as far as the location goes, like I said, I'll let Jim talk about it, but I'm very happy. I think you guys will be too. And I think that's pretty much it. Any questions?
No, you've been awful busy.
Oh, that was great. Thank you.
I have a question, Chris.
Yep.
Regarding the financial literacy that you are setting up, that is coming up, do we know, have we vetted this individual to be financial advisor licensed?
We haven't vetted them, but she runs the bank. She manages the bank, and she does classes like this all the time. She goes around to different places and does these classes, and she's offered it for free for us.
And she comes to our seniors and she advise. If it is just regular banking issues, it's understandable, but we have to be very careful so that the city set up an advisor, because that's how they're going to say it. So I'm only putting it out there for you.
She's not going to tell you to invest in certain stocks or do this and that. It's very basic. It's more, I was more concerned with fraud prevention, because a lot of seniors are victims of fraud. So this is very basic. She was very nice and reached out, and they're new into the community. Chase, we didn't have any other Chase banks in Lynn before. So they want to create ties with the community. And it's going to be very basic. And my intent is more for the fraud prevention. A lot of people are victims of these calls and stuff of that nature. So it'll be very basic stuff. She's not going to tell you put millions of dollars into crypto or anything like that. It's just going to be very basic.
Safe side, on that day, I will appreciate if you can let her know to stay away from answering questions that borders on financial advising.
Right. I hear you.
All right.
Like you
Is
said,
that meeting going to be on Zoom or in person?
What do you guys feel comfortable with?
Probably Zoom. Omicron's out there. Whatever you decide, I'll make my mind up. It was just a question.
All right. We'll think about it.
Chris, I think it's easier right now. Things are still up in the air a lot with this COVID. I think you'd probably get a larger audience, with the Zoom.
The Zoom, right?
That's fine. We can do that.
And Chris, I just want to thank you. I've been at Mass Senior Action for 15 years, and no matter how many warnings we put up, it's not enough.
Right.
People are really targeting folks, I think, especially now because we're so isolated. So I appreciate this class that you're offering just to even, make people more aware to be cautious.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Anybody have any other questions for Chris? No? All right, why don't we turn it over to Attorney Lamanna to discuss the location and what's going on with this new senior center. Attorney Lamanna?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Just a brief summary. I'm sure you're all aware of the saga and our efforts to locate a new senior center. We went out on 3 separate occasions. We went out for an RFP. The first 2 were really in the midst of the COVID pandemic, and there were no bids. Our third time was the charm. We did receive 2 bids, one on Friend Street, which at one point held a adult daycare center. That was the one bid. The second bid was over on Union Street by the Walgreens Plaza. That's more of a basement unit. Our CFO evaluated both of these proposals and it recommended last night to the city council that it did not make sense for the city of Lynn to enter into a 10-year lease at fairly significant rent, where the city would only have a 10-year commitment, and 10 years from now would be looking for a senior center. He believes, Michael Bettino believes, the city's best interest to own our own senior center. I know that's a feeling that's been echoed by members of this board in the past, that the seniors here in Lynn deserve a commitment in owning our own senior center and being able to put money into it and not have to worry about the end of a lease term it disappearing and us having to find a new location. So last night, the Lynn City Council voted to authorize the CFO and the city treasurer to bond $3.1 million for the purposes of acquiring a property. And one of the properties that is certainly on the table is the Friend Street property, which by all accounts identified as a very suitable location for the center, close proximity to where the senior center was housed at Bliss, plenty of parking, very minimal build out is required. As I said, it was an adult daycare prior. There's a kitchen located here. The Friend Street lease did talk about a 2 floors, but from a financial standpoint, the CFO believed renting 1 floor was not in the best interest of the city, and then renting the bottom 2 floors would be fiscally unwise and not prudent. So money has been identified and allocated. That's in addition to the 1.2 believe that the state has put forward for the city to find a new senior center. I believe the city council at one of the February meetings, in all likelihood, will sit and discuss whether the Friend Street property is the best option for the city, or if another location comes up. But we have put $3.1 million on the table, and have committed that to the purchase of our own senior center. And it will be, I believe, the February meeting that will come to fruition and finalized. And to Chris's point, I do believe the April date is still a reasonable target, whether it's Friend Street or another property that is identified that meets the needs of the seniors through eminent domain or a purchase. So that's where it stands. It stands right now. The fact that the bids were rejected last night for a lease, I would not take that as a discouraging news. I think it shows that the CFO and the mayor and the city council recognize that the need of a senior center, recognize that a lease really does not do the seniors of Lynn a service, and it's not financially prudent. It's not financially prudent as well. This is lease money that would go to a landlord. That money could be turned into programs, and Chris has been tremendous identifying programs. And once he has his own senior center, the possibilities are really endless. He's scrambling right now to find a place for the Valentine's Day event. Having an own home, hopefully by April, I think is a tremendous step for the Council on Aging, the mayor, the city council, and more importantly, the seniors of Lynn.
Good.
Yes, I agree.
That's good.
Yeah, it was great news. Yeah.
Finally.
Does anybody have any questions for Attorney Lamanna?
I do.
Okay, Mary.
Mary
please.
Joyner. Did you
Yeah,
say
please go
that I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, go on. I'll wait.
No, ladies first.
Thank you. All right. Did you say both of the bids? I forgot. I wasn't clear on what you were saying. You said both of the bids were not accepted?
No.
What?
Last year, at the CFO's recommendation, the city council rejected, the public property committee rejected the two bids. So one was a lease for the Friend Street property, the second was a Union Street property. And apart from the physical layout, there were some differences between the two. I think there was one that was more ready on day one, where the second property required a build out. But from a financial standpoint, the CFO felt committing millions of dollars over the next years to a rent that it would be much better spent to purchase our own building. Will be bonded over a 25 or 30-year period at a very low interest. He was very adamant last night in his belief that the city will get much more for their money purchasing a property, wherever that property may be. And certainly some ideas are on the table, and the Friend Street property was discussed last evening. But that's not set in stone until the council takes the final action on a vote for the. I do see that crystal ball. I see that vote happening at one of the February meetings.
Oh, okay. When do the councils make their final? That last sentence you said.
For a vote for a taking or an eminent domain taking or a purchase, I see that at one of the February meetings. There's a February 8th, February, the math is terrible, I think February 22nd.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody have any other questions for Attorney Lamanna?
Yes, Attorney, if I hear you very correctly, this is John. So the commitment, the dollar commitment on the table is about, we're looking at $4.3 million. Is that correct?
Three was last evening, and the state legislature committed my understanding is about $1.2 million. So your numbers are correct. Whether that will all go to the purchase, or will a portion of that go to the purchase and a portion of that go to improvements in whatever facility is selected, I can't state for sure, but I can say that listening to the CFO last night at the council, there is a commitment, and if it needs to go above that figure, that commitment's there as well. But $4.8 million right now in the immediate short term has been allocated for the council for the February meetings to make the decision.
To be honest with you, I'm very happy with this news in the fact that based on the bid, when I received it and I looked at it, it doesn't do us no good at all, both properties. And then, like you said, the city made a right decision, right judgment, because our seniors deserve a better place that the city can own outrightly. We manage it outrightly, we own it, and then it will be more suitable because it's a property that is under the care of the city, and the senior citizen deserves better. The one on Union Street, and the other property either. So it's a best decision in the right direction. So we're looking forward to inspect and take a look at other properties that we can purchase and own outrightly for our senior citizens. They deserve the best. So thank you for giving us that news. That's on my part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Yes, I do. Pam, thank you, Attorney Lamanna, and for heading this up and working with the CFO to bring us this good news. And will we as residents and Council on Aging board members need to speak with our city council members to talk about that we would, rather have the Friend Street location? And then also the building itself. Would we need to speak to make sure that whatever else goes in the building complements the senior center?
I would recommend speaking to the council for whether it's the members of the Council on Aging, City of Lynn residents, City of Lynn seniors. I do recommend reaching out to the city councilors and voice your opinion as support of a particular location. As far as I was talking to Councilor Chakoudas last evening. I believe it's a 4.5-story building, and there's been talk of perhaps the first and second floor at Friend Street or another property committing multiple floors for the senior center. If it is a building that is more than 2 stories, it would be the City Council Public Property Committee that would ultimately make the decision of what else should be housed in the senior center to make sure it doesn't interfere with the senior center operations and also be appropriate that the two are not growing in the opposite directions. Nightclub wouldn't work above a senior center, and other uses that would not gel with a senior center, but the city council would make that determination. And if there is a building that is going to be more than it's going to have more square footage than is needed for a senior center, so the council would be the appropriate on both of those issues.
What I suggest maybe is everyone get a list together and just put your concerns, what you're looking for, and either send it to me or to Chris. We can go over it. And then when we do have a meeting with the CFO, the mayor, whoever we're dealing with, these can be some options that what seniors are looking for, what you're looking to have in there, whether if you say, for instance, if you want part of the health department in there to have some resources at all times, if you want different events that's going to happen, we just need to know that for the square footage. Personally, I would love to have 2 floors. I wanted it, but I knew we could not do it when we were looking to lease it because we couldn't afford to. But now that the city owns it, I'm really hoping they'll give us the 2 floors now. We could really use that. Like I said last night in the meeting, if we're going to do a senior center and we're going to own it, let's do it right the first time. Let's not go back and say, oh, we should have taken more space. Let's do it now.
Right. I totally agree with that. Now, I guess in regards of old business, we talked about doing a walkthrough. Is that still something that we're looking to do, or are we putting that on the back burner for now?
That would be on the likely on the burner. If that changes, I'll certainly advise the chairperson and perhaps put a committee together for but and if there is a location.
Excuse me, Attorney Lamanna, I couldn't make out what you were saying. It kept cutting out. Did you say that you wanted to put it on the back burner?
The back burner for now.
Okay.
From the owner of the buildings that we identify, and that hasn't happened as of yet. My understanding, I believe that there have been city officials that have walked through the Friend Street property and other properties around the city. I believe Chairwoman Chakoudas did a walkthrough on the Friend Street property along with Chris, if I'm not mistaken. So they might be able to give you a description. But if there are other properties that haven't been identified to this board, and I would certainly agree that a walkthrough in a property that's sight and seen would be very important. But long story short, long answer, it's on the back burner. If something changes, I will absolutely let the Councilor Chakoudas know and put together a committee.
No, that makes sense. I mean, we're in the process of making a decision of whether we're going to go forward with this property. So I understand that. So yeah, that makes sense.
Anybody have any other questions?
I had a comment. I'm sorry.
Hi, Carly.
Hi. One of the things I actually just heard last night from someone who's heavily involved with the senior center in Salem is a regret that they have as they built up their space. The windows don't open in their kitchen. They don't have a good exhaust system, so it limits their ability to cook for residents. So if we're considering a full kitchen or trying to get some kind of an industrial grade kitchen to do any sort of large scale cooking. I think it would benefit us to just note their experience over there and some of the corners that they ended up having to cut due to budgetary constraints, just to suggest as we consider looking that we not cut a corner as it relates to that type of kitchen and ventilation and access.
Thank you, Callie.
I can tell you.
Anybody
That
else?
makes sense,
Go ahead.
Collie.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah,
ma'am.
maybe in the almost a daily fixture down the old senior center, I would recommend that we have some kind of medical staff on board at all times that the senior center is open, because people do have thinkable episodes.
And that's what I said. Why don't everybody write down just a few issues, a few comments that you'd like to have in the senior center?
What do you mean a few?
Then we do have a meeting, we can go over them. And we can take it from there.
And people ask me what's happening to Pace, Element Care. They giving up the building?
Pace. What's that?
They moved it.
Pace, the former tenant on the first floor has actually relocated to the building at the rear of Union Hospital, and that will be their permanent home. And it's for that reason that the property had been marketed for sale, because Pace had found an alternative location for their permanent home.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Yep.
I have a question. In regards to what Ms. McLean said, Attorney Lemon, we should assume that when a building or when a location is found, the city is going to carry these, the inspectors, engineers, medical staff, and all that to do a preliminary oversight before this is acquired. Is that correct?
There will absolutely be a professional team with architects and engineers going in to look at that. One of the things that was made very clear last night, the CFO recommended $3.1 million and not touching the $1.2 million from the state. He made it very clear that he would like that money to be in reserve, whether it's Friend Street, another location, and in all honesty, another location probably will require much, in all likelihood, would require a much greater expenditure to build out. But one of the things that I found optimistic last night was this wasn't a situation where the city was cobbling together money from multiple sources and with their fingers crossed. They put a large commitment with the $3.1 million, and that $1.2 million is really is being treated as a rainy day fund in order to make those repairs that Attorney McLean had mentioned, and some of the other services that have been discussed today.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of smiles last night after that meeting. I thought it was wonderful. Yeah, it was really good.
Any other questions?
No.
All right. Let's move on to. Oh, I'm sorry, Barbara.
I think Karen had her hand up.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I put a question onto the chat, but I don't believe you saw it. Concerning the Senior Center Facebook page, is there an address for that so that I can log on to it? So that we can keep abreast of those things?
Yeah, it's the Lynn Council on Aging Senior Center.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris.
You're welcome.
Right. Anybody else? All right. We'll move on. Plan for communications to begin. Outreach to seniors in housing and in their homes. Now, Chris, is that you?
Yeah. So we've, with the help of Joan and Kay Brown, they updated the list. So the list is updated. So yeah, pretty soon we can start the outreach to the seniors at their home. We have an updated list. It's still I still have to update it and put it back into my senior center. But yeah, so the outreach could begin soon. We just have to put it back into my senior center, which will take a lot of time because it's a lot of people. But yeah, we could set up a meeting, like a subcommittee meeting, and start doing more things. Sorry.
Good.
Yeah, we could look into this. I'm sorry.
Any questions for Chris?
Hey, Chris.
Yeah?
Are we still going to be using the old senior center, my senior center?
Yeah, we will.
My swipe card will still work?
Yeah, we're going to try to get it. We're going to put the system in and see if it works. If it doesn't, then we'll have to create a new one. But hopefully the old one will still work.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, I do. Is the information going to be available on the Council on Aging line online? Most of this information? Will that be using that as a way of communicating with the community?
Yes. So any event or anything I do, I put it on the Facebook page, and then we put it on the city website. Usually the mayor will put it on his page as well. So yeah, I would be on the lookout for any of those. And then, I also reach people that I know speak to a lot of people. Like I'll call Joan or I'll call other people, and I go to the senior housings and I let them know what's going on, the service coordinators or the managers as well. So yeah, we have a tight knit group. So I always try to keep everyone informed. I'll call Diana anything I'm doing, or I'll tell him. Or yeah, so that's the ways we're going about it right now. Once we have the senior center open, then everything will be much easier.
Right.
We'll be there.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It'll be nice when we can actually get back to doing our newsletters. That'd make it a lot easier for you as well,
Right.
Yeah. We began working on the newsletters. It's just to be honest, it's really hard. Like just me doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, once we open, we get things going, it'll be a lot easier. But we have started working on it. Hopefully, we'll have.
No, it makes sense. It does make sense. It's hard right now, but once we get going, things just takes time. Once we get into that spot where we can, get back at the center and get the help that you used to have, it'd be much easier for you.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
All right. What's next? For activities, services for Lynn seniors, which I think you basically went over some of that already. Do you have anything to add to?
Just keep an eye out on those events. And so the financial literacy and fraud, I'll make it via Zoom. I'll send the invite out to everyone, and I'll post it on the Senior Center Facebook page. Yeah, and then we'll do the arts and crafts. We'll have to be a small group, and we'll have to be, as safe as we can, as possible. And then the Valentine's party, we'll see what we can do about that. Once we find a location, I'll let you know.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Joan Noble, President of Friends of Council of Aging. Hey, Joan. Is Joan still here?
Yeah, Joan, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you now.
Thank you. I had my hand up before to make a statement, but evidently you weren't able to hear me. Actually, because there is no meeting anywhere for the Friends of the Council, there is no reports. But I do want to make a statement regarding the database that Chris was talking about. This is a tremendous, tremendous undertaking because the city has wasted thousands and thousands of dollars because of the incorrect names, incorrect addresses, people who have died. There are 6,000 names on this list. So we've been working and diligently, so when Chris has the newsletter, it will be accurate addresses and names as far as we know. We are going line by line. That being said, I would like to make a statement about what we really need. The Friends of the Council on Aging. Those of you who have been at the center many, many years, remember that the Friends of the Council on Aging it was in the kiosk area. They had their own space, their own office. Any supplies that we used for fundraisers, any supplies that we used for the ice cream social, everything was right there. When we had to send anything out, it was at our disposal. I'm hoping with the new center, we will have a special office, so to speak, or some space where we can keep everything designated. Because right now, for all the years that I have been president, I do all my work from home. I use all my own facilities, all the records are here, and it's very difficult. We really, because the Friends of the Lynn Council on Aging is an important fundraising group, we really need an area in the center.
Right. So as we make our list, we need to put that at the top of the list, that you need space and that you
and we did have
responsible.
We
Excuse
did
me?
have that, Mary, years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was much easier. But then as the center, for whatever reason, needed more space,
They took the
gradually we
space.
lost that. And then our
Yes.
supplies, our raffle tickets, our containers were all being just put in the regular closet, so to speak. And then we had one cabinet that was designated for us. But it's just not fair.
No, it isn't.
Oh, the senior center shrunk.
Yes, we lost our space.
Thank you, Joan. And we appreciate you sitting there helping Chris go through all those names, addresses. We really appreciate all that help. Thank you.
It's a big.
And Joan, the Council on Aging Board supports you. So I'm just going to take that as a motion and I say so moved.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have new business and old business. Any new business, Pam?
None that was presented to me. Just want to say that the Mass Senior Action Council monthly meeting, we invited both Director Gomez and City Assessor Chris Gator to our meeting. And we were informed that with the new administration, the assessor's office is looking at ways to help lower the cost for seniors on their property taxes. And we're very excited about that. We know that that is a burden for many. And also at the last couple meetings and with the help of Lynn TV, we've been advertising locations for seniors to get help with their heating costs, both oil and electric. So we want people to know that. And also at the City Council subcommittee meeting, the Healthcare Committee, Director of Public Health, Michelle Damaris, stated that if somebody is having a hard time finding a test, a COVID test, to call the Public Health Department. So they can help you navigate that, especially whenever, you might be a senior who doesn't drive, something like that, or don't have access to a computer because most of the testing or a lot of the testing is, by appointment. So just wanted to make those announcements and get that on everybody's thing. There's still a big backup at the Salem emergency room. I had terrible stories over the holidays, long waits, sitting in pain. And so just want to remind people that if you can, maybe either go to a different emergency room if you're able to, or try the North Shore Medical Center that is on Union Street by the old Union Hospital for regular things. Because right now the Salem Hospital emergency room is, it's difficult for many people that are, who are having an emergency.
Pam, did you mean to say on Linfield Street? Did you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, on Linfield Street. Please go there if you can during their hours. And remember, if you call them, they will provide transportation. And if you do need an emergency room and it's possible, you may want to go to a different ER. That's what we are hearing from people in the community. Oh, and because of our concerns, with the help of Counselor Coco, the mayor is having a public hearing tonight at 7:00 to talk about these things and the challenges of finding care in the North Shore area and specifically in Lynn. So there is a 7:00 Zoom tonight with the mayor.
Thank you, Pam. Anybody have anything else to add?
Yeah, I have one more thing to add. So the service need assessments for Lynn seniors, they're going to be mailed out. Some of you have maybe already got them through UMass Boston, and this is really important that people fill it out and they send it back. It's pre-posted, so you don't have to pay for it, but this goes a long way to help us when we're asking for more funding or asking to do a lot of things from a non-biased, person. So if you get it, be on the lookout, and this is really important. If you can spread the word and have people fill it out, it's going to be on the city website as well too. The link. I think it's really important that we all fill it out. But you'll get it in the mail. Everyone will be getting in the mail as well.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Anybody have anything else to add? No? Well, hopefully our next meeting in February, we'll have some more information regarding the senior center. And like I said, everyone get your list together. To send them to Chris, you can send them to me. Probably Chris would be better, but you can send them to me.
Yeah.
This is more organized than me. All right, so I guess we will adjourn this meeting. Joan?
I would just like to thank everyone for the prayers for my grandson.
Yeah.
Off the ventilator.
Oh, thank you, God.
And had a little bit of applesauce. So hopefully
good.
He's 14 years old, Seth Noble, and it's been a horrendous time. But I know you people have been praying, so I wanted to get a thank you out there. Thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll see you at the next meeting.
Okay, have a good day, everyone.
Good day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I know personally, I can't see myself approving 6. That's my feeling. So, but you guys have made your case, and I think we've made our case to you. Or people are expressing themselves here, so we can move ahead like this if you want to.
Well,
we want to have a
stake.
stake.
Stake a lot.
Yeah.
But I would also ask the board, seriously, to consider the housing production plan. Because maybe it's not this case, you could say it's not relevant to this case.
Right.
I'm telling you that it's coming.
Okay.
And it's going to be more buildings.
You made that point. Thank you.
And it's going to be as of right in certain districts. And so there are people living in single-family districts right now.
Yeah.
They could do 3 bedrooms. They're not gonna be single family any longer.
Yeah, right.
And that's because of state law.
That's a state law.
And the adoption of the plan and land.
Yeah.
So.
And, I mean, you know,
I don't make.
we do have hundreds and hundreds of units coming into the city too, so that should help.
All over the place.
Yeah, that's gonna help, so, I mean, you know.
So I'm just suggesting to you that I have degrees, but I always tell clients, I don't have a degree to give business advice. So what you're asking is a business decision, not a legal decision. It's up to the owner to say how many units he would accept, not me.
Right, yes. Yeah, it's the chairman, yeah. Yeah, but you can, I don't know if.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Go on.
Your comments are well taken.
Say it once more.
Comments.
Huh?
Your comments are well taken.
Thank you, Mr. Callen, all right?
Yeah, so can you see the need?
Yeah, you've expressed that.
We
understand that. We understand that.
You know, the need is big right here.
And we take, you know, a lot of responsibility. We feel a great responsibility to consider each project as it comes forward and, you know, what is the effect on the neighborhood? And, you know, parking is a very big problem. And so we just feel like to go from 2 units to 6 units is a big lift. So you can proceed with that and see how the vote turns out. But for right now, I think, you know, if there's anything new that you want to present, that's good.
Or you can go for 4 and you're still helping the city.
You're still helping
the city. Since that's your concern, to help the city, help others, you still contribute.
Yeah.
You went from 2 to 4, but you're asking us to go from 2 to 6. And we're pushing back.
That's good, I mean to interrupt you. I think we've covered this, and if there's anything new you have, do you want to present?
No, I'm saying I don't have a plan. I have another plan that changes the shit, but I don't have a plan to follow.
Okay.
I mean,
you know, I don't think there's any problems with any setbacks or side setbacks or rear
Dimensions aren't a problem.
Dimensions aren't a problem. We're just concerned about the density.
So then the challenge would be to take that footprint with those dimensions and do a drawing that shows the layout less than 6 units. Is that
4? Yeah, I'd like to see 4.
Then we would stake the lot.
Yeah.
You could bring you back a set of plans.
Yeah.
And then that allows him to make a decision as well.
Yeah. Right.
Sounds like overcrowded too.
Yeah, I agree.
Overcrowded, yeah.
So, if you guys are set with your presentation?
Yes, but I'm just saying that I wanted you to know how we got to where we did and what the thinking was.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, we're all very sympathetic to what you're saying about the city's needs, and, you know, so we're all taking all those things into consideration when we make our decision. I think we've expressed how we feel about it. So that being said, you guys are squared away now?
Well, I need to know whether you want us to have to get the surveyor stake for what.
Yeah, we want I think we're going to have to carry it forward because we'd like to see the lot staked out, and we'd also like to see you bring in a plan for 4 units. I think.
I said that. I don't have it.
Okay, all right. So we'll do that. And
I gotta move with BCFW then.
yeah, well, I just want to allow if there's anyone else speaking in favor or in opposition, we'll go through that portion of the hearing now.
Also have the survey get on AutoCAD. I'll get the survey also and get this on AutoCAD. So it's legible and dimension the parking lot.
Right, yeah. It would be nice if this
gentleman, Mr. Callen said with snow storage.
The gentleman here, that would be nice.
We've done in the past.
Yeah, and I mean, because you might even like, there isn't the current one. I mean, you know, it does look like, I don't know what's here. I see a 13-foot measurement here, right? I see a 13-foot measurement. Is that from this line to this line?
Yeah.
And so, no, if someone's going to plow, I don't know what is here. If that probably just grass, so we probably could push through. So I'd like to see what the distance is between.
From the building to the...
But you've got 2 parking spaces here, so the plow, and someone would have to plow, you know, and go like that. But if you only had 4 units, you wouldn't even need parking spaces there. Yeah, you'd only need 6, right? And so you could, you know, you'd have much nicer, I mean, you could have a little bit bigger units, right? And, you know, and I know you're not doing this for financial reasons, but that would accommodate a little bit higher rent, so it wouldn't be, you know, quite, you know, a loss to you that 6 units would provide.
Right, we could leave this for plowing access and park this way.
Yeah.
That way no one parks there, and then it
Yeah.
takes care of all of it.
And you only need 6. It'd be nice if you had, we'd like to see you have a couple overflow parking spaces. That would be nice, you know, if
But
you
I don't
could.
want to see 3 bedrooms in each unit.
Right, no, we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, don't put 3 or 5.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, well, you could reconfigure your footprint, maybe, I don't know, well, you guys can figure that out, but what we're looking for is 4 units and 8 bedrooms. I mean, you know, the bedroom isn't, the number of bedrooms isn't in the zoning regulations, but, you know, zoning bylaws or guidelines, but we consider that, you know, that is really where the rubber hits the road in terms of density of an apartment building or apartment or home or whatever, however you want to put it, so, are we
All
clear?
good?
Yeah, I think we understand what you want.
Yeah, and you like the character, but just make it small.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, Mr. Chairman, any new plants should be 18 inches by 24 inches, not these little
Okay.
Yeah,
plants.
but how, they got electronically
No,
submitted, how do you get them?
every member should get the same thing, the same size sheets.
But when they
18
get sent,
inches
but
by
when they get sent as a PDF, it's
18
11.
by 24.
Oh, 24.
18 by 24.
Okay.
Right.
It's required now, 18.
No, I'm asking you to do
If
it.
you could do one
Oh,
set, if you could,
okay, no problem.
Do one set.
One set, yeah.
I'm okay with the small set. If you can do a large one for
Oh, I
Mr.
can do
Callahan.
better, I'll do 24 by 36. Okay, all right, yeah, I misunderstood. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
He doesn't know.
Make 2 of those, make 2.
I know, it's hard for
One
us
for
to.
Jean.
I know.
It's not necessary,
Jean's gonna
18
need-
by 24 is.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell them 2.
I'll do
Can you do 2? But, Mary thinks we need 2.
2, each side of the table, okay. Sure.
Sorry. And Mary will distribute it for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. I will,
Rick, do you want to read that letter?
I'm gonna read that right now, and I had a conversation with Councilor Hogan today, and, you know, he's very much a supporter of the project, and I'm, you know, think very highly of Councilor Hogan. I think he cares deeply for the city, and, you know, seeing the big picture like that. But I expressed to him our concerns, and he understands our position too.
No, he
So I just having said that, he spoke very highly of you. But I'll read that letter now. I got that here.
Burn the fire.
Not from Councilor Hogan, I think.
Oh.
So here's a letter from Councilor Hogan. As you're aware, dear Chairman Wood, as you're aware, I'm the duly elected councilor for Ward 6 in the city of Lynn, and I represent the Warren Street neighborhood. This evening, there is a petition by Antulia Lopez to allow the construction of a 6-unit apartment house at 93 Warren Street. The former 2-family home was destroyed by a fire in December 2020. The fire displaced 4 adults and 9 children, and the owner and occupants lost all of their possessions. I have spoken with the owner, his legal counsel, and have reviewed the proposed plans to rebuild this home. I've also spoken with Mr. Lopez's neighbors, who have expressed no opposition to the proposal. The property is located in an R4 zoning district. As ward councilor, I strongly support this request for a variance and respectfully request that your honorable board act favorably on this petition. The approval of this variance will be a major step on allowing Mr. Lopez and his family to restore all that they have lost from the fire. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yours very truly, Fred Hogan, Councilor Ward 6. So that's in the record. We appreciate those comments from Councilor Hogan. At this time, is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the petition? Hearing no one else wishing to speak in favor of the petition, I'll close the hearing to that portion of the hearing and ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in opposition. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this petition? Hearing no one else wishing to speak in opposition, I'll close the hearing now. And what is the wish of the board?
Continue to the next regular meeting.
All right, we have a motion to continue the hearing till the February 15th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Kelly.
Did we get all the information?
Yeah, I think we had that conversation. They know what they're gonna do.
Staked out 18 by 24 plans.
Yes.
What do you say? CAD drawing of a parking plan, CAD drawing of a parking plan and plot plan.
Could you get the plans to us a week before the hearing date?
Yeah.
Great, okay, terrific. Okay, so
So it's February 16th or 9th?
yeah.
February 15th.
February 1/5, right, the date, next hearing?
Yep, here's him. February 15th.
Yeah. So what, February 8th, I guess, yeah?
So smaller units, from 6 units to...
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Callahan and seconded by Ms. Crouch to continue the hearing until February 15th. Can you call the roll, Mary?
Yep, we're going from 6 units to 4 units, have it staked out, and we're gonna have 2 plans by 18 by 24 along with the plans, and also a parking plan in Cadbury. What, I'm sorry?
Marked out.
Staked out and...
Staked out, I'm sorry.
Staked, it has to be lined out.
Marked out?
Lined.
Well, if they're staked,
Lined out, okay.
It's just square, you can see from between the stakes.
Yeah, but the points are there, and they paint a line between the points.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess if you can spray paint in between the stakes, okay.
Corrected site plan.
Corrected site plan. I think they reported 8 bedrooms.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay, you
Well,
ready?
yeah, that's right. If it snows and the lines get marked, we'll have the stakes at least, right? So that'll be the one thing. So,
Mr. Wooten?
Yes, to continue.
Mrs. Crowitz to continue?
Yes, to continue.
Mrs. Curley to continue?
Yes.
Mr. Callen to continue? Mr. Wood to continue?
yes, to continue. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Lopez,
Thank you very much.
So there's one more order of business. We need to elect new officers.
The election of officers.
My tenure comes to an end. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for your service.
Where is that? We have an agenda.
You want my copy?
I just had it.
Yeah. You can have my copy.
All right. Okay, so this is my first time through this. So the nominations for the 2022 year of the Lynn Zoning Board of Appeals are, let's see, Mrs. Curley is nominated for chairwoman. Mr. Callahan is nominated for vice chair, and Ms. Crowitz is nominated for clerk. So can I, if I nominate them in mass, could I get a second for the group?
Second.
We have a second. And so this would be all regular members only are voting on this, so I don't mean to.
Nope, you know.
But so could we have I guess we'll call the roll on that? Or just we can have all in favor?
All in favor.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we have a new slate, all right. Congratulations. Yes, oh, that's right, I get to sit on those, yeah. How many times have you been chair?
Oh, God, I'm on this.
5th or 6th times. You know, Mrs. Crow's been a board member for like 20 years and she's never missed a meeting. I don't mean to jinx you there, but I think that's tremendous service to the city, it really is. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn, yes.
After the meeting, can everybody just wait 1 minute? after
Meeting is
we
over right now.
Cancel the meeting?
Yep, we just close it,
We
yep.
just close it.
It's off?
Yeah. Okay, thank
So,
you.
Michael?
Here at the New American Association of Massachusetts, our team of legal representatives are here to help you and your family become U.S. citizens.
When I started my U.S. citizen process, I thought it wasn't gonna be easy, but I knew I have to do it for me, for my family.
We offer free virtual citizenship preparation classes as well as free assistance in filling out the citizenship application. Our services are open to anyone from any state in the country.
It's scary at first, but with the New American help, you can make it. You can achieve your goal.
Here at the New American Association of Massachusetts, we care about your story. We care about you as an individual. Call us today or visit our free
Present. Commissioner Phelps.
Present.
Commissioner Funes. Attorney Romano.
Present.
Lieutenant Reddy.
Present.
And we have some minutes from our October 14th meeting, our November 16th meeting, and our December 16th.
Motion to accept the meetings from October, November, and December of 2021.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have alterations to premises. Sunshine Inc., doing business as Chestnut Liquors.
Yes, my name is Gregory DeMarcus. I'm an attorney in Lynn with offices at 56 Central Avenue. And this is a pretty straightforward one. Cy Shyam Inc. already operates Chestnut Liquors at 348 Chestnut Street. What they would like to do is license the basement, which is already there. In other words, there's no construction or anything like that necessary. They'd just like to license it for storage, for additional storage. There'd be no other change in the operation of the business.
No, I didn't have any. I thought it was pretty straightforward. Yep, a motion to accept the alteration of 348 Chestnut Street, doing business as Chestnut Liquors.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
John was right. He said I could handle this. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
We hope everybody gets well.
And we have our police reports.
First one is 210-86983, the Euphoria Nightclub, 130 Union Street. Essentially, a plainclothes officer was in the area. There's been issues there when they break up at night, pretty much every weekend. So they've been, the owners have called requesting a presence, so they've been down there. He was breaking up a crowd. At some point, he moved over into in front of the club, and there was a gunshot across the street in the Union Plaza. And they went over, a car did take off. There's an ongoing investigation for it. As I said, it was across the street. It obviously came from someone who was involved, or probably just left the club, but did not happen inside the club. And we did get a number of calls. Actually, one of them was a security manager, a security person from the club itself. So. And the only issue with that, obviously, is it seems to be increasing every weekend. And a lot of the incidents there have been shots fired, but they've all been outside when the crowd breaks up. So, you know, and they have called, they've offered their cameras, so they've been cooperative with us.
All right. Just accept that one, please.
Oh, yeah. Do you need that in the motion?
210-87542. Ethos on 195 Oxford Street, it's marijuana dispensary. Essentially, the report amounts to a customer in there. Obviously, he was having some type of episode. He was harassing the clerk in there, became upset, knocked everything off the corners, and stormed out. They called the police. They reported it appropriately. So.
Okay.
210-83068, La Chingada, about 160 Franklin Street. They responded there on a fight. When they got there, there was an injured person up front. There was also reports of people going around the corner. They went around and brought them back. There were several people who had some injuries, minor injuries from the fight. They spoke to all of them, took the information, filed a report on it. It appears they had been inside the establishment prior to coming out. This all occurred outside. I did do research to see who called. Unfortunately, it wasn't recorded who made the phone call, so I do not know if the staff called or if it was someone going by outside. Again, it's another place that the officers that I spoke to the owner in there. It appears that it's a learning curve for him. It appears he's kind of new in the business, and I know they had some other issues with noise and whatnot. But this did happen inside and spilled outside. I honestly can't tell you who called the police, which would be my biggest concern.
Right. I believe we did have them in at our November meeting. And just for educational type purposes, just to remind them that they need to call and whatnot, so, and you're not sure if they called this?
No, I did look it up in the CAD. Unfortunately, call taker did not record the phone number or the person calling, so it could have been someone passing by, or it could have actually been the club. If it makes it easier, I can actually go by and have a conversation with him. I think he's on the premises all the time. That'll just make it easier to determine what happened then.
Would you? That'd be good.
Do you want a hearing or a conference?
We just had them in, remember? What if they did call, we bring them in, conference, make the conference then?
Okay, you'll let me know.
Just in case they did.
Yeah.
There's some other ones that are not listed that Attorney Lamont just gave me. Do you want those? Mr. Chairman? Sure.
Yeah. Pat, do you want the new ones?
Sure. Okay. These weren't listed in the agenda. Do you want them in? They were just given to the Attorney Lamont today. So 210-89340, that's Deborah Lickers. Essentially, they got a call for a person there creating a disturbance, did some damage to some products in there. It looks like someone went in looking to buy wine, was looking at it, was close to closing. He was advised of that. He became enraged, started swinging something around, knocking glass and bottles off the counters. It was a dispute over whether he was also told by the owner to wear a mask or leave. Either way, the owner locked the door, called the police responded. So he took the appropriate action in that particular one.
Good.
210-88412, 170 Broad Street, Conga Lounge. At closing time, their staff identified a person leaving the building with a bottle of liquor. They stopped him, they took the liquor away. The party was apparently upset, but they did have him leave. As they were letting him out, a short time later, a car drove by several times. And at one point, when it came back by, fired 5 or 6 rounds from a pistol, some of them striking a car out front, and others striking the building itself. That's still under investigation. The owners responded to the scene that night. They pulled the video for the officers that night and were fully cooperative. And in fact, since their attorney and the security person has been on board with the investigation. So.
What do you want to do with that?
Accept it for the file? Accept it for the file?
Yes.
Because you're saying they did handle it correctly.
2200349, 874 Washington Street, Pelican. They called because they had a female passed out in the bathroom by the time the police had arrived. There was a male and a female, and the female passed out. She had gotten up and left the pub. The opinion is that it was more drug-related than alcohol-related. Again, they call once they talk about it.
Accept that one for the file.
22002732, Ocean Liquors. That was a shoplifting. It was someone that appeared to be underage. Came in, they questioned him and weren't going to sell to him. He grabbed the bottle and ran out of the store. They called the police.
Okay. Accept that one for the file. Yep.
So 22002751, 196 Essex Street, Sullivan's Liquors. It was they were called there for by the staff for someone who's intoxicated, refusing to leave. There apparently was some type of fight between this female who was extremely intoxicated and a male that was in the store. Essentially, as far as the business goes, there were some details that the police dealt with the victim, but she was in there. They had refused to serve her because of her intoxicated state. She got into it with another customer, but they did call the police and they had refused service.
Okay. Can accept that one.
That's all I have.
Okay. Well, it keeps you guys busy, but it keeps you busy. They're doing what they're supposed to do, so. Yes. All right.
You're on, Jim.
We do have some old business.
I had forwarded a copy of an RFP for I have to make a change to it. There are 3 wine and malt licenses because of the U.S. Census that are available, and there's also a all-alcohol package store license that's now become available as a result of the population increase in the city of Lynn. I have spoken with the ABCC. I know that there has been some talk about an RFP, there would be a price component where you could put a monetary bid. The statute is pretty clear that licenses should be approved only if there's a public need, and the question of whether someone would bid $200,000 for an existing license at $2,000, it should not be factored in. It should be, the focus of the License Commission should be, is there a public need for these 4 additional licenses, and is there a public need in the particular location that's being proposed to be located? So the RFP that I had forwarded to the board is pretty straightforward, asking anyone that's interested by March 4th to put together a new application filing that could be evaluated at the March meeting. Certainly defer to the board. There may be waiting lists, and there definitely is a waiting list of sites that Debbie's been keeping track of. Whether those locations are still available and open is probably, that may not be the case. There may be someone that's interested in a license, but we'll need some time to go try to locate a location that's empty that they could rent, and then B, in a location that there is a public need and not right across or right next door to an existing facility. So I defer to the board whether that March 4th return date is too soon, and whether you want to kick it out a bit to April, or to stay with that. And that was just something I had picked. But we could at least be able to evaluate at the March meeting, and then perhaps even calling them in the April meeting for questions and having public comment on the proposed submissions, if any.
When is the application available?
It will be available as soon as this board approves a timeline, and I work with Tim Leonard to definitely get it into the Lynn item and perhaps the Central Register, just to widen the net.
So it'll definitely be 30 days.
Oh, it'll definitely be 30 days, yep.
I think that's adequate,
Yes,
30
yes,
days,
30
yeah.
days.
Yeah, it would have to be 30 days to be consistent with the RFP.
How many days ahead of time do we need to put it in the paper?
Pardon me?
How many days ahead of time do we have to put it in the paper?
We can get it in next Wednesday. I could talk. Tim Leonard, he handles that. I'm sure he'll forward the bill on to you, but he'll do the legwork as far as working with the item.
They usually put it in like the next day or the second day. They're pretty good.
And applications will be accepted as of February 3rd?
As soon as, yes, it'd probably be sooner. So if it's in the Central Register in the item next week, the Central Register would be next Wednesday. You technically could submit something that day. You know, knows more than me how long it would take to fill out the application and get all the paperwork.
Well, if they have somebody that's competent that's doing it, I mostly suggest they get a lawyer, because if they don't and they're missing pages, they're going to get thrown aside.
Okay. And will it be clearly expressed to the applicants that it's not based on first come, first served, it has to be based on...
Right. And you reserve the right, if you've just determined that there is not a public need for these 3 additional wine and malt and the additional all-alcohol license, that you could reject all bids and then revisit at a later time if there's a determination that the need is there.
Okay.
Now,
Some of the wine and malt, just in full disclosure, it would not surprise me at all, some existing wine and malts would be buying that all alcohol beverage license will probably be the more attractive. And then that might free up an additional wine and malt if you were to choose a wine and malt license. So, but that's all, it's in your discretion on what's best for the city.
and it depends on which one, because some of them are under acts.
That's a possibility too. If it's a special act, and that license would go away.
Oh, okay.
Absent a new special act.
Now, who opens these? The purchasing department?
Purchasing department will open that at March 4th at 12 o'clock, if that's the date that's selected.
Okay, and then they just...
And they'll weed out the applications if they're not complete, just...
How are they going to know it's not complete?
We're going to work with Tim to view it. If you go to the ABCC website, it's basically the new license.
Criteria, yeah, of what has to be included in the application.
There's a checklist with new applications that they really just need to go down and do, and they always...
The ad as drafted refers them right to the ABCC page that has that checklist that Deb was talking about, the three separate documents that would need to be included.
It sounds fair. It sounds like the information is going to be out there, so...
We also have, during that time is, I believe, April 1st, all the outside seating expires, unless the governor continues it, but they will all have to apply for permanent extension of premises.
They would have to come back to the board, and then it would also be subject to an ABCC inspection. The outdoor dining that was passed during the June of 2020, there was no requirement that the ABCC come in and inspect. Well, this will be like a formal extension of premises that has to go through all the checks. Been working with Lauren Drago, who's the associate planner. There is a belief that there'll be a few establishments in Lynn that would like to continue. I know Chow and Rossetti's really didn't use the outdoor dining, I think, at all this summer. Four Winds, I think, has expressed a desire.